Welcome to Red-tastic. Story 1. Brother's wife, sister-in-law is pregnant with their first child and had a baby shower over the weekend. I was not invited to the shower, but my brother sent me a gift registry. I didn't buy anything because I'm not invited, so why should I buy a gift? My sister-in-law asked me what I got for her on Monday after the shower, and I said I'm not getting anything. She teared up and asked me why. I simply said that I was not invited, so I didn't think I needed to buy a gift. I did buy a congrats on your baby card for them. My brother is angry at me, and my sister-in-law is apparently really upset. Sister-in-law and I don't get along at all, so they think I'm doing this to be rude and retaliatory. I think it's rude to not invite guests to your baby shower but still expect them to give you a gift. My brother says I'm immediate family, so the etiquette rules don't apply, and I should not have said it so bluntly to his wife's face. I said I'm happy for him and his wife, but I'm not getting a gift for them. Then I hung up. The rest of the family aren't getting in the middle of this and are just telling us to sort it out amongst ourselves. What do you think? Am I the a-hole? Information. They told me they could only invite a limited number of people. I know there are other reasons, and she was only saying that to be diplomatic. There were 20 invitations sent out. Our parents, her parents, and all their friends. I guess siblings are not that important. My sister-in-law and I don't get along because our personalities clash. She's a very extroverted and open person, whereas I'm more of a private and introverted person. When my brother introduced us, she wanted to go from 0 to 100 immediately. We work in the same building, so she wanted to meet and take the train together, and walk together every morning, meet and have lunch every day, and go home together every day. It was overbearing. She also dominates the conversation, and I end up just nodding my head for the whole time. I prefer to have some time alone to decompress during lunch and my commute home. I asked her if we could meet on Monday and Friday only, and she took it as me disliking her as a person. It became a big drama where she threatened to dump my brother. When she came with us, family vacation, I offended her again because I don't like sharing clothes, makeup, skincare, food or drinks with others due to hygiene reasons. She's the opposite and loves to share and expects everyone to be open to sharing too. I know this sounds petty and that I'm not without fault. Basically, that is the reason we don't get along. Not the a-hole OP. If immediate family means the etiquette rules don't apply to you, then you don't have to follow them and buy a present. I would never buy a present for something I'm not invited to. Would you be giving them a present when she gives birth? Maybe pointing it out if you're going to will possibly calm them down. Not that you have to, but just in case you want to appease them and get them off your back. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. In fact, they are so much the a-holes they deserve a passive-aggressive response. I had a similar thing with my sister-in-law, wanted my money and gifts but not my presents. For both showers, she threw herself. In lieu of a gift, I gave her a homemade coupon book for free babysitting. Oldest niece is 5 and sister-in-law has never claimed a single one. Don't want me around? Well, my gift is offering to be around even more. Not the a-hole. Your family isn't getting in the middle because they know you are right but don't want to deal with a crazy entitled pregnant lady. After the kid was born, give them a gift. Something really nice like opening a college savings fund, or something you can monogram or engrave with a personal message from you. Basically a gift from you to the kid that their crazy entitled mom can't use for herself or claim to have given the child. It's pretty rude to not invite local, close immediate family to a gift-giving party like a baby shower, especially when lots of other family members were invited, yet still expect them to give you a gift. I get not inviting extended out-of-town family because they don't live in the area and they're probably fine sending a present without an invite. But with local family at a family celebration, there's really no reason not to invite them unless you simply don't want to spend time with them. Which is probably why OP wasn't invited to the shower. The sister-in-law is free to invite only who she wants to, but she shouldn't expect a present from anyone who wasn't invited. Story 2. My 27 males, girlfriend 27 female, and I started dating 3 years ago. She has an 8-year-old son from her previous relationship. We also had a daughter born at the end of last year. Things are great. Having a baby is the height of human experience, no question. We live together, the 4 of us. The biological father of her son is in his life. He gets him every other weekend, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays picks him up for a few hours after school and returns him before bed. I'm not going to add my opinion of him as a father because I don't feel it's my place or relevant to what's going on. All I will say is we have him 80% of the time and provide everything for him. He doesn't have clothes at his father's. We pack him a bag every weekend he goes to stay over there. As far as support goes, he gives my girlfriend $400 every month. Not through a court order, just something they agreed on years ago. Here's where my dilemma comes in. I don't think it's fair after finding out what he makes. To me, he's been getting off cheap for a long time now. Not having him sleep at his house but 4 days a month means, in my opinion, he should be providing as much as he can for his son. I got the ball rolling on this a while ago. My girlfriend was against it and apprehensive at first, which really offended me as it felt like she was protecting her ex's feelings at the expense of our family's well-being. So there were plenty of arguments and nights spent sleeping away from each other. I unfortunately had to resort to an ultimatum of sorts, as it had gotten past the point of frustration for me to have to worry about anything of a financial burden when we were leaving money on the table. So eventually I talked her into it. She filed for a court order. I guess when the father found out, he flipped out in anger, saying it was bullshit and my girlfriend had no right to do this to him. To me, this is manipulation. You would only be angry about going to court if you knew the court was going to take a fair amount, what they deem acceptable for him to provide based on his income. This is him trying to get out of paying for his son, and to me it's shitty behavior, so he's pissed off. To my girlfriend, the way I went about forcing the issue was unbecoming of me. I don't really care, as when the money we receive increases, our lives will be more comfortable. I think she will see I was right when this happens. I'm curious to see what outsiders think of this. Am I the a-hole here? OP, you're the a-hole for convincing her to file for child support without encouraging her to have a conversation with her ex first. That too is a form of manipulation. What he pays in child support is an issue between those two, not you. If you really thought he was paying less than what he should have, you should have encouraged her to talk with him about maybe paying more and taking legal action if that didn't pan out. You literally saying, "I talked her into it," is manipulation, pure and simple, even if you thought you were doing the right thing. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. It's extremely unlikely that you're going to get much more than $400 for one child with him making only $40K a year. You manipulated your girlfriend into ruining what seemed to be a great co-parenting relationship because you're money hungry. The petty side of me really hopes he goes for 50-50 custody and you lose out on child support completely, or that the court takes a look at his finances and lower the amount he's giving, which is very possible. Good luck, a-hole. You're the a-hole. I am a stepmother, so I get frustration, but you shouldn't always act on it. You convinced your partner to do something she isn't comfortable with. $400 a month on a $40K wage is 80% custody, where the child is school-aged is reasonable. I would be surprised if you got much more money. Your partner is at home with your baby. The paying parent is not responsible to subsidize that. If it were just their child in the picture, then your partner could work. Every state is different, but don't be surprised if they look at your finances because of that. Some people also pursue more custody to decrease the amount of child support they pay, so he may ask for more custody. You're the a-hole. I understand wanting more child support. Nothing wrong with that. The father obviously took part in making that child, so he needs to do his fair share of supporting. As a child of divorced parents, my father got off easy even with court-ordered child support. My mom easily paid most of the expenses since she had full custody of us. However, you handled it horribly. You shouldn't have pushed your girlfriend so hard and given her an ultimatum. You really let these arguments drive you to the point of spending nights away from each other. I'm worried about your family's future. You obviously need to learn to communicate like a mature adult. You should have had your girlfriend talk to her son's father first. Story 3. My husband and I got together around the same time she, Amy, was moving out of home. We've been married about 4 years now, and it's just my husband and I at home, alongside my own son, 26, who is also required to pay rent if he wants to stay here. Amy is now 23 and has been having some struggles juggling internship, a part-time job and rent. My husband invited her to come and stay with us so she could manage her finances better, and because he felt her ability to perform well at her internship was impacted by having to work on the side. He did this without consulting me first, and Amy arrived with the impression she would have a free ride waiting for her and not have to work at all. I was extremely unimpressed, to say the least, and after I pointed out to my husband how unfair it was, my own son had to pay rent while Amy did not, he came around and told Amy that I required she pay rent while staying under our roof, but he would set the price and that it would be a lot less than she was paying while sharing an apartment with others. A compromise we came to. On top of this, all food costs would be covered and obviously internet and power. So it was a much better deal for her all around. When Amy found out about this, she blew it. She shouted at me and told me it was not my house to make demands in, and said that it was unfair because it was me who decided to make my son pay rent, not her father. She also yelled at her dad for misleading her and said a host of nasty things before leaving, and is now staying at a friend of hers' apartment. I personally think she is being extremely childish and spoiled. But now his extended family has gotten involved, and after a call from his brother, my husband is upset and wants to take back what he asked of her. I think it's completely unfair for one child to get to freeload while another has to pay. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I've had a few people mention telling my husband to instead stop charging my son rent. The decision to make him pay his way was mine alone, and a point Amy is now trying to use against me. That I can make rules for my own son and her father can make rules for her. I think it's important for people to pay their own way. The fact remains that my son pays it. Therefore, so should she, regardless of what her father is fine with in regards to the both of them. I agree it's a red flag. I was shocked to find out he made such a serious decision without consulting me first. Edit 2. Her mother and father bought the house before she was born. Now for some comments. Everyone sucks here. Her reaction was immature, but you were kind of a jerk about the rent thing. Yes, I understand, fair is fair, but your stepdaughter wasn't just looking for a free ride. She's taken on what sounds like an unpaid internship to advance a career, and her father was trying to help her through this time by giving her a place to live. It's neither of their fault that you unilaterally decided that your son would pay rent. You also didn't mention his situation or why he's living there. Sorry, but you're the a-hole here. Maybe your husband is not parenting how you would like, but it's his daughter and his house. If he wants to prioritize her well-being and focusing on internship, who the F are you to say it's not the best for her? What level of entitlement does it take to do that? You talk about respect when you say he should have contacted you, but where is your respect for him as a father? And no, Amy is not the a-hole. To her, you are an intruder that got in her house and is imposing a viewpoint she's not grown with. And truth be told, she isn't too far off. You're the a-hole and so is your husband. He should have talked to you before making this arrangement, so he is the a-hole for that. However, you can't force your parenting on his child. You have already admitted you don't see her as your own, especially when it comes to the house that she has lived in long before you came along. If you feel that is unfair for your son, tough break. You made the rules for him. Letting your child stay with you rent-free so that they can advance their careers when you can well afford to is not a handout. It's being a parent that cares about the child's future.